It's Wednesday, June 17. I'm Mai Rodriguez for your midday report. We'll be giving you the story shaping the nation at this hour. Let's go to the headlines. The Senate gridlock is finally over. Senate President Sherwin Gatchalian ousts Alan Peter Cayetano after Senator Joel Villanueva joined his bloc. President Bongbong Marcos arrives in Kazan for the ASEAN Summit, set for high-stakes talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Tributes continue to pour in for late Ateneo athlete Rene Baterbonia. The remains of Divine Adili have also been transferred to a funeral chapel in Quezon City. And switching gears to lighter news, pop star Taylor Swift's Toy Story anthem soars to #1 at the Billboard Hot 100. Senator Sherwin Gatchalian has officially been elected as Senate President after Senator Joel Villanueva joined his bloc earlier today. He now becomes the 5th Senate President under the Marcos Jr. administration. Hannah T joins us live from the Senate. So Hannah, the leadership row has finally been settled. It was a busy few hours this morning. Run us through what happened.
Mai, it's time for healing. That's the message of Senator Raffy Tulfo following the election of Senator Win Gatchalian as new Senate President, a development that formally ended days of leadership uncertainty here in the upper chamber. Tulfo said it is time for senators to set aside their differences and return their focus to legislative work, as the Filipino people have already seen enough of the political bickering inside the Senate. While members of the former Cayetano bloc were not present during the special session, Tulfo said the majority is extending a hand of reconciliation and is prepared to reach out to its colleagues.
This is my message doon sa mga taga-minority. Mga boss, kalimutan natin yung mga nangyari, mga nasabi, mga nagawa. Tapos na yon, sport lang. Magtrabaho na tayo.
Gatchalian secured 13 votes, enough to elect him as SP after Senator Joel Villanueva attended today's Senate session, joining the majority bloc. Tulfo also apologized to the public for the divisions and infighting that have marked the chamber in recent weeks, expressing hope that senators from both sides can move forward for the sake of the country. As for the legal challenge against leadership change, Tulfo said he believes the Supreme Court petition may soon become moot following Gatchalian's formal election as Senate President. Cayetano allies filed an SC petition to declare null and void the Senate reorganization on June 3, which put Gatchalian as acting SP while the Senate chief position was declared vacant. In about a year, the Senate has gone through 4 leaders: former Senate Presidents Chis Escudero, Tito Soto, Alan Peter Cayetano, and now Win Gatchalian. Gatchalian is actually the 5th Senate chief under the Marcos Jr. administration. Mai.
Hannah, after this leadership change, who will preside over the impeachment trial of VP Sara Duterte?
Senator Chis Escudero is being eyed as possible impeachment court presiding officer. That's according to Senator Ping Lacson, at yan daw yung consensus ng majority senators as of this morning, dahil naniniwala silang merong sapat na legal background itong si Escudero. At kung matatandaan natin nung panahon ng impeachment proceedings ni VP Sara last year, si Escudero ang naging Senate President. So sabi ni Lacson, meron siyang sapat na experience pagdating sa impeachment process. Mai.
Hannah, committee chairmanships have also been assigned and other measures that have been part, like the granting of citizenships for 2 American athletes. These were addressed already this morning. So what's next? What's on the agenda?
May, as we speak, ongoing ang special session ng Commission on Appointments. We're expecting this afternoon, sometime this afternoon, matatapos din yan at isinalang dyan yung ilang military personnel na dapat maia-appoint dahil hindi ito naabutan noong June 3 bago sila nag-adjourn. At mamayang hapon, magbabalik session ulit pagkatapos ng CA hearing. Inaasahan nating matatalakay naman yung anti-political dynasty law na sasalang dapat sa debate mamayang hapon. So titignan natin kung ano yung magiging developments because that is considered a delayed and controversial bill dito sa Senado. Mai?
Thank you, Hanati, reporting live from the Senate. Malacanang welcomes the election of Senator Sherwin Gatchalian as Senate President. The President said he is pleased that both houses of Congress are now ready to carry out their duties in line with his call for a more productive legislative agenda. Priority bills, he said, should now be passed into law to strengthen and expand government services for Filipinos. House leaders also hailed the election of Sherwin Gatchalian as Senate President, stressing that cooperation between chambers is key to delivering reforms and expanding opportunities for Filipinos. Meanwhile, House Majority Leader Sandro Marcos denies allegations linking him to flood control payoff as claimed by the so-called Maleta Boys. Janina Vela is on the line for the details. Janina, go ahead.
Yes, Mai. Ilocos Norte Representative Sandro Marcos is congratulating the newly elected Senate President, saying, "I know how level-headed he can be. So I think that's exactly what the current political climate needs." Marcos adds he looks forward to working with Senate President Sherwin Gatchalian. But when asked about being named in yesterday's Rogue Blue Ribbon Committee hearing, he called this BS. One of the alleged ex-employees of former Congressman Zaldico implicated Marcos in his testimony, saying he was asked to go to the house of PBBM and it was Sandra who allegedly received the maleta. But Marcos called the witnesses fake bodyguards, and he said he will not dignify their claims with an answer. He also pointed out that when Senator Cheese joined the majority, a maleta suddenly appeared, and he even joked that Mary Grace Piatos might be the next accused of receiving a maleta at the next hearing. Mai.
Janina, did Congressman Marcos say anything about the upcoming impeachment trial and the President's State of the Nation address?
Yes, Mai, he was asked for his opinion on lowering the voting threshold for the impeachment, but he responded saying he will leave it up to the legal luminaries of both chambers, as he is admittedly not a lawyer and he never pretended to be. He redirected all the other impeachment-related questions to the House prosecution panel, saying the House leadership is not giving any specific directives to the panel. And lead prosecutor Jervil Luistro has done a great job in steering and managing the impeachment in itself. On the SONA, Mai, he also said that he is not the best camp to ask because he will probably be reading it from his father in the next couple of weeks leading up to the SONA. Mai.
Thank you, Janina Vela reporting. Even before the Senate power shift, Alan Peter Cayetano had already acknowledged he was set to be replaced as Senate President after Senator Joel Villanueva shifted support to the Gatchalian bloc. Kumuha tayo ng detalye mula kay Isaiah Mirafuentes live mula sa Senado. Isaiah, anong latest?
May alam mo, bago pa man nga maganap ang botohan sa bagong Senate President dito sa Senado, naglabas na ng pahayag si former Senate President, Senator Alan Peter Cayetano, na tinatanggap niya na ng bukal sa loob na mapapalitan na siya ngayong araw. Sa kanyang Facebook post, sinabi ni Cayetano na kahit hindi na siyang SP, isang karangalan pa rin niya ang maging lingkod bayan. Sinabi rin ni Cayetano na si Senator Joel Villanueva ang nagbigay hudyat sa kanya na buo na ang 13 ng mayorya nang magsabi itong dadalo siya sa special session ngayong araw. At sinabi rin niyang hindi niya na ito kinontra. Sa pagdating naman ni Senator Risa Ontiveros dito sa Senado kanina, confident na siyang buo na ang 13.
Number, ma'am?
Very hopeful.
So makukomplete na yung 13, ma'am?
Very hopeful. Back to work.
Hindi pa man nagsisimula ang sesyon, agad nang binasag ni Senator Mig Zubiri ang mga bulong-bulungan. Kumpirmadong si Senator Joel Villanueva na nga ang pang-13.
We have 13 members already, and we will buckle down to work. Yan ang panawagan ng taong bayan. Trabaho na kami sa Senado.
Sir, what's your reaction?
Sino
number 13, sir?
Senator Joel is with us.
Okay. So what's your reaction? Kailan niyo nakuha, sir?
Secret.
Samantala, ayon kay Senator Cayetano, hindi man siya ang kasalukuyang Senate President, tuloy pa rin daw ang kanyang paglaban sa pag-iimbestiga kaugnay sa flood control scam. May nagpapatuloy nga dito sa ngayon sa Senado ang sesyon para naman sa Committee on Appointments at merong 4 na senador mula sa Cayetano bloc na kasalukuyang minority ang nasa loob ngayon ng session hall. Yan ay sina Senator Rodante Marcoleta, Senator Loren Legarda, Senator Amy Marcos at si Senator Bongo. May kanina nung dumating si Senator Amy Marcos, agad natin siyang sinalubong at naitanong natin din sa kanya kung ano ang kanyang reaksyon kaugnay nga sa pagbagong liderato dito sa Senado. Ang isang maikling sagot lamang ni Senator Amy Marcos ay it's okay. Samantala, si Senator Loren Legarda rin ay nakausap na rin natin kanina. Ang sinasabi niya, kinongratulate niya itong mga bagong liderato ng Senado at bukal din sa loob niyang ipasa ang posisyong Senate President Pro Tempore kay Senator Tito Soto na siyang papalit kay Legarda. Mai.
Ay saya, ano ang reaksyon ni Senator Cayetano sa kanyang mga kasama sa Senado, particularly Senator Joel Villanueva?
May bahagi nung kanyang Facebook post, sinabi niya na hindi masama ang kanyang loob, wala siyang galit sa kanyang mga kasamahan dito sa Senado na masasabi natin sila nga yung mga nagdesisyong palitan siya bilang Senate President. Kasama na nga dyan ang dating kasamahan niya sa mayorya na Cayetano bloc na si Senator Joel Villanueva. Ang sinasabi niya, walang sama ng loob, ang kanyang posisyon bilang Senate President ay hindi forever, kundi pwede nga siyang palitan anumang oras. Mai.
Inaasahan pa ba natin na darating ang ibang miyembro ng Cayetano bloc?
May hanggang sa mga oras na ito, nagpapatuloy nga ngayon sa loob ng session hall yung session para nga sa Commission on Appointments. Sa ngayon, wala tayong nakikitang dagdag dun sa 4 na mula sa minority bloc. Pero mamayang alas 3, may inaasahan pa tayong susunod na sesyon dito sa Senado, which is ito yung regarding nga dun sa anti-political dynasty na naipasad sa Kamara at nailipat na dito sa Senado. At hopefully, we are hopeful na meron pa tayong ibang mga senador, dagdag na senador na makikita. Pero as of now, Mai, wala tayong impormasyon na nakukuha mula sa kanila kung darating sila ngayon sa Senado. Mai.
Maraming salamat, Isaiah Mirafuentes, live mula sa Senado. Political analyst Dr. Froilan Calilong welcomes Senator Alan Peter Cayetano's move to concede the Senate presidency to the new majority bloc. On BNC's memo, he said impeachment proceedings would have grinded to a halt had the impasse not been resolved, citing the absence of a presiding officer.
We need to have a decisive and a clear-cut manifestation kung sino talaga yung ating Senate President, because the Senate President will definitely be the presiding officer, especially na ang ating isasalang sa impeachment court right now is a sitting Vice President and not a President. Kasi kung Presidente yan, it's the Supreme Court Chief Justice. So it's really the Senate President that will have to have the final call of this.
In other news, tributes continue to pour in for Ateneo student athlete Rene Baterbonia, who died along with teammate Divine Adili in a team activity in Aurora last week. Richard Grande is on the line from Talacogon in Agusan del Sur, Rene's hometown. Richard, Rene is finally home. What is the latest? Ano nangyayari dyan?
May gulat pa rin ang ina at di makapaniwala sa nangyari sa kanyang anak at naramdaman nito sa nakikitang suporta ng maraming tao na nag-aantay pa rin sa convoy na halos 246 na kilometrong biyahe nitong Lunes hanggang Martes mula sa Davao City. Si Ginang Robilin Baterbonia, ina ng namatay na basketball player, nagpaabot ng kanyang dubling pasasalamat sa mga nakiramay, nag-aantay at nagpaabot ng tulong hating gabi na nang dumating sa entrance ng Provincial Gymnasium ng Government Center ng nakaraang gabi diyan sa Patinay Prosper Agusan del Sur at binigyang pagkakataon na siya ay magpasalamat na anya hindi ito mababayaran ng kahit milyon dahil ang kanilang tinig ay umabot sa Luzon, Visayas at Mindanao. Ang convoy na mula Davao nagsimula alas 8 ng umaga at nag-drop sa funeral parlor ng Panabo ng 4 na oras. Lumisan ito ng 1:50 ng hapon. Dumating naman ito sa San Agustin Gym dito mismo sa kinaruroonan natin 1:40 ng madaling araw ng Martes. 18 oras lamang sana ang biyahe nito o 18 oras ang biyahe nito na dapat makukuha lamang sa 4 na oras. Ngayong araw naman tinakdang bubuhos ang mga bisita at nandito na nga ang gobernador ng probinsya ng Agusan del Sur na host ng kakatapos lamang na palarong pambansa Mai at ang mga congressman ng una at ikalawang distrito, mga opisyal ng sangguniang panlalawigan at mga mayor ng buong probinsya. May 13 mayor at isang city mayor dito sa Agusan del Sur ang nandito ngayon at ang pinakalites ngayon ay ang pagbibigay ng isang resolusyon mula sa sangguniang palalawigan na i-retire na ang number 2 na sa mga tinatawag nating number ng mga basketball players sa palaro dito sa amin, yung Governor's Cup, wala nang aangkin doon sa base sa resolusyon at ibinigay na ito kay Rene Baterbonia sa lahat ng mga liga sa buong lalawigan. Mai?
Richard, ang ina ni Rene Baterbonia, itong si Ginang Rovilin, nagulat daw siya doon sa dami ng nakiramay, marami ang nagbigay ng suporta sa kanila. Halos buong probinsya nakikiramay sa kanila, pati na rin doon sa Ateneo de Davao. Ano pa ang sinabi ng pamilya nila Rene Baterbonia?
Parang artista daw ang anak niya, Mai, kasi mula sa Davao, dadaan pa yun ng maraming mga lungsod at mga probinsya hanggang dito. Yung hindi magkamayo ang mga tao na salubungin. May mga may mga pasalubong pa ng mga Bureau of Fire Protection. Yung pag nag-water gun sila ng tubig mula sa yung fire truck. 2 bisis, yung sa San Francisco at saka dito sa Talacogon, Mai.
Richard, may sinabi na ba ang pamilya kung kailan ang libing?
Ikukorek ko lang yung report ko nung nakarang araw sa schedule ngayon na alaman natin na ngayong June 24, may iniopin talagang sementeryo dito, bago-bago at siya ang unang nilibing ngayong 24 Mai.
Alright, maraming salamat. Richard Grande nag-uulat mula sa Agusan del Sur. Rene Baterbonia's former coach, Jess Evangelio, hopes that his death will lead to stricter policies on team-building activities. On BNC's On Point, he shared how hardworking Baterbonia was on the basketball court. A dreamer, that's how he fondly described the young athlete.
Ako po, personally, ma'am, hindi ko po alam kung kung tama tong sasabihin ko sa iba, pero sa akin ang sana mabigyan na ng pahinga talaga yung si Rene. At the same time, mabigyan ng peace of mind yung mama at papa.
He adds that it is already too late for Baterbonia's family to speak with resigned Ateneo coach Tab Baldwin and former team manager Epo Quimpo. The Ateneo de Davao University clarified it has not authorized any individual or group to sell merchandise or conduct fundraising activities using its name or logo in connection with the Aurora tragedy. The university said they're not officially endorsing such activities and warned that violators could face legal action, including possible civil or criminal liability. The public is urged to verify the legitimacy of any fundraising campaign that claims association with the university where Baterbonia spent his high school years and brought glory both on the national and international basketball scene. Let's go to Quezon City for the wake of late Ateneo player, Nigerian import Divine Adili. A former Nigerian student athlete in the Philippines is leading efforts to help his family. Zeus Valdez is live from the Arlington Memorial Chapel. Zeus, ano na ang nangyayari dyan? Anong update?
May isa-isa na nga nagdadatingan dito sa Arlington Memorial Chapel sa mga kaibigan at supporters ni Ateneo foreign student athlete Divine Adili. At isa nga sa nakapanayam natin kanina ay si Prince Ezi Namdi, ang nagpasimula ng fundraising campaign para sa naiwang pamilya ni Divine Adili. Ayon kasi sa dating Perpetual Help Alta standout sa ating naging panayam, isa itong misyon para sa kanya ang pagtulong sa pamilya ni Divine Adili. Nagmula ang ideya matapos siyang makita malawak na suportang ibinibigay sa pamilya ng kapwa Ateneo player na si Rene Baterbonia. Habang nagpapasalamat sa mga nagpapakita ng pagmamalasakit para kay Baterbonia, naramdaman niya ang kailangan din ng pamilya ni Adili ang tulong ng komunidad. Malapit sa puso ni Namdi ang sitwasyon dahil tulad ni Adili, nagmula rin siya sa Nigeria at nakipagsapalaran sa Pilipinas upang itaguyod ang pangarap sa basketball. Ipinaliwanag pa niya na maraming African student athletes ang nagsasakripisyo upang makapagpadala ng tulong pinansyal sa kanilang mga pamilya sa kanilang bansa. Pero bago ilunsad ang donation drive, siniguro muna ni Namdi na may pahintulot ang pamilya ni Adili. Ayon sa kanya, personal niyang kinausap ang ama ni Divine na si Elias Adili at tinanggap nito ang pagtulong. Ibinahagi rin ni Namdi na kaya hindi pa nakakapunta sa Pilipinas ang ama ni Divine dahil kinakailangan pa nitong ayusin ang mga dokumento mula Nigeria. Matatandaang nasawi si Divine Adili kasama ang kakampi niyang si Rene Baterbonia sa isang team building activity sa Dipakulaw, Aurora noong June 8. Ang insidente ay nagbunsod ng magkakahiwalay na investigasyon at nagpakilos sa buong Philippine basketball community. Para kay Namdi, higit pa sa basketball ang hadikain ng kanyang fundraising campaign. Layunin kasi nito na maiparamdam sa pamilya ni Divine na hindi sila nag-iisa sa pagharap sa pinakamabigat na parte ng kanilang buhay sa ngayon. Mai.
Zeus, habang hinihintay ng marami ang pagdating ng pamilya ni Divine, may malinaw ba na time frame kung kailan sila makakarating dito sa bansa at sapat ba yung kasalukuyang tulong para sa kanila, no, para mapabilis itong proseso?
May naitanong nga natin kay Prince kung kailan yung estimated time o date and time of arrival na itong ama ni Divine na si Elias. Pero ayon sa kanya, magiging matagal yung proseso kasi hindi naman common sa Nigeria ang magkaroon ng passport sa murang edad. Kaya start from scratch etong si Elias. Sa usapin naman ng tulong na naibigay na sa pamilya ni Divine, ang sigurado pa lang kasi sa ngayon ay yung 250,000 mula sa Philippine Sports Commission. At kabilang na rin dito, hiwalay dito, of course, yung fundraising na isinagawa naman ni Ezi Namdi sa kanyang Facebook page para nga sa naiwang pamilya ni Divine mula sa Nigeria dahil para nga sa kanila kapag nakakapagpadala daw sila ng tulong pinansyal ay parang Pasko sa kanilang mga pamilya sa Nigeria. Mai.
Maraming salamat, Zeus Valdez, live mula sa Arlington Memorial Chapels. For the first time since the Aurora tragedy, 2 surviving members of the Ateneo men's basketball team are speaking out. They share their account of what exactly happened that fateful day in Dipakulaw and how they lost 2 young, promising athletes. Anton Rojas has the story.
Ateneo rookie Kiefer Alas and fellow Blue Eagle Sam Reyes have shared their harrowing account of the Aurora tragedy that claimed the lives of teammates Rene Baterbonia and Divine Adili. Speaking for the first time on the Pod Network's Let's Talk with Pia Hontiveros, hosted by distinguished news broadcaster Pia Hontiveros, Alas and Reyes recounted how they too were swept away by powerful waves during the team-building activity. The 2 players said their parents had given consent for them to join the training camp in Dipakulaw, Aurora. Alas also revealed that coaches had briefed the team beforehand about the area's rip currents, uneven seafloor, and safety precautions. On the day of the incident, the team was taking part in a beach agility drill, walking in a straight line along the shoreline under the guidance of one of their assistant coaches. According to the players, the water initially reached only their thighs, but within moments, massive waves taller than the players crashed into the group. The waves caused the seafloor to drop away, split the team into clusters, and swept several players farther out to sea. Alas said he, Reyes, Baterbonia, and Adili were among those carried away. As the chaos unfolded in the water, Alas says he found himself in a desperate fight for survival. What happened next is something he says he will never forget.
Tapos parang, it's like underwater more, I'd guess more than 20 seconds. Parang nag-give up na po ako nun.
You felt like giving up?
No, nag-give up na po talaga ako.
Alas said he spent what felt like an eternity underwater before finally feeling the ocean floor and finding a way back to the surface. The two players also rejected claims that the camp was an initiation rite or form of hazing. Alas said the activity was designed to build brotherhood, teamwork, and discipline, adding that the team's veterans would never subject rookies to hazing. Meanwhile, Reyes opened up about the guilt he continues to carry following the incident.
I feel guilt lang po kasi
Guilt? Why?
Rene was beside me and parang I felt na I could have done more na para di siya malunod. So, it was eating me alive na there were times na I was just awake.
The player said Baterbonia was the first to be found after a bystander called for help. They claimed teammates, not first responders, carried him out of the water. Adili was recovered later, with Reyes saying some teammates believed he still had a pulse when he was brought back to shore. Alas and Reyes are the first members of the Ateneo team to publicly share their experiences since the tragedy, which remains under investigation. Anton Rojas, Bilyonaryo News Channel.
Comelec Chairman George Garcia eyes cases against the so-called Maleta Boys after being linked to alleged flood control kickbacks. That and more stories when Midday Report returns. You're back on Midday Report. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. is in Kazan, Russia for the ASEAN-Russia Commemorative Summit, where he is expected to hold bilateral talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Joash Malimban joins us on the line from Russia. Joash, this is a 3-day working visit for PBBM. Tell us what's on the agenda.
My President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. is set to arrive anytime now in Kazan, Russia for the ASEAN-Russia Commemorative Summit, where regional leaders are expected to discuss cooperation in security, trade, energy, food security, and other key areas. Later at 4:30 p.m. in Kazan time, PBBM is expected to hold bilateral talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin. The palace earlier said that discussions between the two leaders will focus on energy and food security matters, as the sectors have been some of the two nations' common beneficial interests. Russia has been a full-fledged dialogue partner of the ASEAN since 1976. And as this year's ASEAN chair, President Marcos Jr. said that the Philippines is committed to produce substantive and forward-looking outcomes that deepen strategic partnership with Russia. This includes regional peace, stability, and shared prosperity. According to President Marcos Jr., this visit holds both personal and regional significance to him, as this is officially his first visit in Russia. This visit also coincides with the 50th anniversary of Russia's and the country's diplomatic relations. Mai.
Joash, will defense and security be part of the discussions amid rising tensions in the West Philippine Sea?
My national security, regional stability is definitely one of the key topics that will be talked about in this year's summit. But this is something we've yet to confirm sa bilateral talks ni PBBM at the President Putin later, considering that China is also a longtime key ally of Russia. Mai.
Thank you, Joash Malimban, reporting to us from Russia. Commission on Elections Chairman George Garcia will file charges against the 18 so-called Maleta boys after he was accused of receiving bags of cash from flood control kickbacks. On BNC's agenda, Garcia said their allegations are baseless and false.
Kung hindi po ganun kahatagal pala ang kulong niyan, parang sa isang mersenaryo, hindi na baling makulong ka ng maiksing panahon kung ang kapalit naman nito ay milyon. So hindi po ba? Parang ganun na ba kadali ang magsinungaling sa ating bansa dahil lamang sa ang kapalit naman itong pagsisinungaling ay hindi naman po mahaba palang pagkakakulong. Kasi nga po lumang batas na yun yung perjury, and therefore, kung ikukumpara mo sa pwedeng maiabot ngayon o maipangako, parang hindi na equal yung kulong versus yung mismong o yung parusa versus yung pwedeng matanggap ng isang magsisinungaling.
Garcia also questioned the inconsistencies in their statements, saying they first claimed he received 4 suitcases of cash, but later said it was only 1 bag worth 10 million pesos.
So doon pa lang po, ikita niyo po yung kasinungalingan na nga hindi pa ma-perfect. Ano po ba talaga, maleta o bag po? Doon pa lamang At the same time, ay wala naman po akong kinalaman sa flood control. Ang COMELEC po napakalayo, malapit lang po sa amin ng DPWH na dito sa may likod. Pero sure na wala po akong ka-involvement dyan sa flood control programs o projects ng pamahalaan.
Bicol Saro Party List Representative and House Prosecutor Terry Ridon says the submission of the defense's witness list a day before the pretrial conference is a positive sign that the Senate impeachment trial will proceed smoothly. Speaking on BNC's memo, he clarified that the extensive witness list submitted by the defense is not unusual in such proceedings and is often done to cover all bases. He adds that while new witnesses are generally barred after the pretrial stage, additional evidence may still be allowed if permitted by the impeachment court.
Nakakita rin ako sa answer ng defense na nagre-reserve sila ng right na makapagpresenta pa ng ebidensya ayon sa daloy ng paglilitis. Anong masasabi mo doon?
Tama ho yun, no? So, syempre, generally speaking, barred na ho yung mga bagong mga witnesses after pre-trial, no? Pero syempre, binabanggit din naman po mismo ng Senate Impeachment Court itself na pwede pa rin naman ho maglatag ng ebidensya pagkatapos po ng pre-trial basta papayag po yung Senate Impeachment Court, no? So, yan po yung magiging itsura niyan. So, I don't think it's just the defense that will reserve that particular right.
In other news, the Labor Department has fined the owner of the collapsed 9-story building in Angeles City, Pampanga that left 30 people dead. Ernest Jackson Lim is ordered to pay up to 11 million pesos. The DOLE also held the company Golden Years Construction and Steelwork Corporation liable for the collapse. Up next, tennis legend Serena Williams suffers a first-round defeat in the Berlin Open doubles. More news around the world, plus the latest in sports and the weather after the break. Stay tuned to Midday Report.
You know.
The United States and Iran have signed a preliminary agreement to extend their ceasefire for 60 days while they negotiate a permanent peace deal. The agreement requires Iran to forgo nuclear weapons, while the U.S. will ease restrictions, including allowing Iran to sell oil. Both sides have also agreed to reopen shipping through the Strait of Hormuz.
There's so much interest in the text of the document. Why not release the document?
Oh, I will.
Why not release it
Well,
before
because
Friday?
I'd like to get a formal setting first before we do that. But I have no problem with that. It's grid document is what it says. Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. That's what it says. It won't have one. To buy, to develop, they will not have a nuclear weapon. And I would say that's about 99.9% of what I wanted.
The conflict has killed more than 7,000 people, mostly in Iran and Lebanon, and has affected countries across the region. However, Israel has distanced itself from the agreement, raising questions about whether the ceasefire will last. In Delaware, one person was killed and another was injured in a shooting at a hospital in Wilmington. Police say the suspect fled the scene and had not been caught. Investigators are reviewing surveillance video to identify and locate the shooter. The hospital was placed on lockdown but was later cleared and reopened. The investigation is ongoing as authorities continue the search for the suspect.
We're grateful for the heroism and professionalism of our caregivers throughout today's incident. Our emergency response team has been fully activated. They are at the Wilmington campus, and as we move forward into the coming hours, we will determine how we proceed with reopening services and going back to normal operations. Thank you very much.
Africa's Center for Disease Control warns that the Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo could become the worst ever recorded. This amid major gaps in tracking possible infections. Only about 12% of an estimated 33,000 people who may have been exposed have been followed up, increasing the risk of further spread.
If we don't stop this outbreak very soon, it will be even worse than what we had in West Africa and the eastern part of the DRC. Overall, with the expectation to have 33,000, we are just following 12% of our people.
African leaders called for coordinated action, and South Africa pledged an additional $13.5 million in support. France beat Senegal 3-1 in their opening match of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Kylian Mbappe scored twice to lead France to victory and become the country's all-time leading goal scorer. French fans celebrated the strong start to their World Cup campaign.
No, I think it's good to have a good start, and Senegal was it is a really strong team, so I think it's really good to start like this, to have the good mentality and to keep going forward, because the tournament is going to be really big. You know, there's a lot of matches, so it's good. It's a good start, so I'm very proud of my team.
Meanwhile, Senegal fans were disappointed but remained confident their team can still advance from the group stage.
Honestly, all things considered, I think Senegal came out. We played really well. We showed that, we are a team to be that is competitive, I would say, especially with big teams like France. I do think if some substitutions were made a little earlier, the game might have turned out differently, but I still think overall, I'm really happy about how everyone played. We gave it our all.
Senegal will next face Norway on June 22, while France continues its group stage campaign in its next match. Serena Williams' sensational tennis comeback hits another speed bump. The tennis legend was knocked out in the first round of the Berlin Open doubles, falling alongside her partner Karolina Muchova. The pair were outplayed by the duo of Juliana Olmos and Erin Routliffe in a swift 90-minute encounter. The defeat is also dealing a significant blow to Serena's preparations for Wimbledon, where she and her sister Venus have been granted a wild card to compete in the women's doubles. The Williams sisters are six-time doubles champions at Wimbledon. They won their last title on their most recent appearance together a decade ago. In the NBA, Karl Anthony Towns says the New York Knicks championship brought joy and healing to New York City. He said the title was special because Knicks legend Patrick Ewing finally celebrated a championship with the team. Towns credited the victory to teamwork, resilience, and the support of Knicks fans.
I was emotional too. I think we all are. I think that what was so special about this was, and I didn't realize this until after the win, was how much healing that win would do for all of New York City. From the fans to the alumni to even for us as the players in our personal lives. It was a healing experience. And to see someone like Pat just finally exhale after all these years, to see Larry O'Brien in his hand, it was emotional to see Pat taking his portraits with the trophy, because when he was here, I know he only wished and imagined that he would be the one to do it. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy to see so many fans at the Garden and just to see the energy that all the fans bring. Like you said, there's a lot of celebrities that show up to our game, but in my mind, the real celebrities are the ones in the 200s and the nosebleeds who are spending their hard-earned money to show up and cheer for their Knicks. So those are the real celebrities in my mind. The guys, people who are showing up from their 9 to 5, spending their life savings, their children's college tuition, and all that come between to show up to one MSG game. That's really special.
Weather experts are monitoring a low-pressure area still far to the east in the western Pacific. It's still well to the east of Guam, as you can see here, near the Marshall Islands. At this time, most model guidance suggests that this developing system is more likely to recurve towards Japan rather than directly affecting the Philippines, but we'll certainly keep an eye on this. For now, we continue to see the effects of the easterlies affecting eastern sections of the Visayas and Mindanao. Still hot and humid conditions prevailing over the country. Looking at the rainfall forecast, we see some isolated afternoon showers and thunderstorms over Palawan, Antique, and Negros over here. But we see a lot more moisture for Mindanao. We see this building up towards the evening over the Zamboanga Peninsula, Soxargen, and the Davao region. Areas of concern are the Agusan provinces, Davao de Oro and Davao Oriental. We see periods of heavy rain, most likely due to localized thunderstorms. Be alert for flash floods and landslides in low-lying and mountainous areas. Farther north to Luzon, light to moderate rains for the Cordillera, Abra, Ilocos, and La Union, also over the Bicol region over here. The rest of the region should enjoy fair conditions with just isolated showers. That's how skies are shaping up. Do check Pag-asa's rainfall advisories in your location. Up next, Spanish star Javier Bardem, honored with a Hollywood handprint ceremony. That and more stories and entertainment when Midday Report returns. A humbling experience. That's how Spanish star Javier Bardem described receiving one of Hollywood's most enduring honors this week. The Oscar-winning actor, known for films like No Country for Old Men, Dune, and Before Night Falls, left his handprints and footprints outside the iconic Chinese theater. Standing alongside legends such as Marilyn Monroe and Jack Nicholson, Bardem said the moment felt surreal. For the Spanish star, it's yet another scene-stealing milestone in a career packed with blockbuster roles. A decade of Disney magic is getting a fairy tale celebration in Shanghai. Shanghai Disneyland marked its 10th anniversary with Disney characters, executives, and thousands of guests gathering in front of the iconic castle for a giant birthday sing-along. Since opening in 2016, the resort has welcomed more than 100 million visitors and remains China's most visited theme park. And the magic is far from over, with a new Marvel-themed land and an additional hotel already in the works. Talk about the happiest place on Earth. Taylor Swift is hitting all the right notes and breaking records while she's at it. Her Toy Story anthem, and that's the Midday Report. I'm Mai Rodriguez. I'll see you again tomorrow at 1 p.m. Stay informed and stay safe.